Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigerian Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
This is Nigeria Info.
To at least school certificate level or its equivalent. An election into the office of the president shall be held on a date to be appointed by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And then from there, it goes on to talk about how the election process should go on and the likes of that. That's in section 130, right? Now, let me back up a little bit, okay? I think I'll just go back to 14. There's a part that always interests me. Section 14 talks about the president, right? That's if the person is now the president, not president-elect, president. This is where it gets tricky, right? Where it talks about the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on principles of democracy, social justice. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government through this constitution derives its power. The security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of this government. The participation of the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and the likes of that. Now, where a lot of people are arguing on is with regards to, well, I would say it this way, with regards to the Constitution on the issue of, oh, is this person is dual citizen or not? What was that material I was looking at just now? Yes, okay. Dual citizenship. What does the country's rules say about it? And I'm just reading. I'm not interpreting now. Section 3, Section 28. Subject to the other provisions of this section, a person shall forfeit and forthwith is Nigerian citizenship. That is, you have a Nigerian citizenship. If, not being a citizen of Nigeria by birth, he acquires or retains the citizenship or nationality of a country other than Nigeria, of which he is not a citizen by birth. I'll read that again. Now, this is what the law says, the Constitution says. It doesn't say anything about whether you're a president or a president-elect. It just talks about dual citizenship, which is, in this case, at least two citizenships, all right? Dual means two, right? Section 28 under Chapter 3. Subject to the other provisions of this section, a person shall forfeit forthwith, that's going forward. Forthwith means going forward, right? Is Nigerian citizenship if, not being a citizen of Nigeria by birth, he acquires or retains the citizenship or nationality of a country other than Nigeria, of which he is not a citizen by birth. Now, the subsection 2 of that talks about any registration of a person as a citizen of Nigeria or the grant of a certificate of naturalization to a person who is a citizen of the country other than Nigeria at the time of such registration or grant shall, if he is not a citizen by birth of that other country, be conditional upon effective renunciation of the citizenship, effective renunciation of the citizenship or nationality of that other country within a period of not more than 5 months from the date of such registration or grant. So here we go. This talks about, if you're a citizen of the country or you're granted that you're a Nigerian, or you got a grant and the president approved, if it's not a citizen of Nigeria by birth of that country, that's okay, you're joining another country and it's not like they gave birth to you there. Be conditional upon effective renunciation of that citizenship on nationalization. Now, I would leave this to the very, very intense lawyers to drag out, but it leaves room for a lot of things. And I was reading through this yesterday, and let me look for what I'm about to say. Okojo-Iweala, when she wanted to take up the role in WTO, and the issue of citizenship came up, and I remember much of that in the news was, would she renounce, our role in this? The report then in September, at least in September 2020, around this was about, would she be able to take this up or would she not be able to take this up? Let me read to you what Bloomberg reported about citizenship, around the citizenship at the time, and also the cable, so that you have a good idea of what we're dealing with. Okay. Harvard educated, long-term World Bank economist Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is bidding to become the next Director General of the World Trade Organization under a nomination from a native Nigeria, while also holding dual U.S. citizenship. Okay, that's where that starts, pretty much, and describes the situation to deal with. Now, the cable, on the other hand, talks about it this way, that she has more than 30 years, she studied in the U.S. Okonjo-Iweala took up U.S. citizenship in 2019. Most of the candidates running for the office of DG at WTO boast of dual citizenship, which experts say may boost their chances at getting the much coveted job. Some of the candidates flaunted their duality in the uploaded biography, while some others are quiet about it. Okonjo-Iweala arrived in the U.S. 47 years ago, worked there for more than 25 years before taking up the country's citizenship. She ran for president of the World Bank in 2012 without the backing of the United States and lost the seat to Korean-American Jin Young Kim. The Gavi chair holds a bachelor in economics and the likes of that. Now, what makes this a little bit tense, or should I say apprehensive, is the Constitution of Nigeria has never really looked the way of, if it's a president-elect or the president, what type of citizenship can he combine with his current citizenship? Does he say if you have another one, if you have another citizenship, you're in trouble or you're not eligible to run for office and the likes of that? This is where we find ourselves. Here's another part of it. Can you be from another country to have their passport as a citizen, but is not there by birth? Now, remember, Nigeria's constitution emphasizes a few things. It talks about birth. It talks about naturalization, okay? But doesn't necessarily discuss the idea of, if this person takes up another international passport, whether by the fact that his wife or somebody else, that their spouse is from another country, does that put up the dramatic around this? So that's where this frames up in a very interesting way. Now, for those who would wait it out through the waters and will go to court around this, it makes it more interesting. And like Fashola said, we're at a time where we would see whether Asiwaju, the president-elect Tinubu, is going to be able to find his way around the issue of, there's a passport coming forward that says you also are from another country, while simultaneously being a citizen of Nigeria. Does that stop the effectiveness of his work? Does that put compromise? Would that be breaking the law? Let me bring up another example you might remember. Do you remember the saga around Atiku Abubakar some years ago? I don't think it didn't come up in this election, but there were talks about if it was of this age and it's from Adamawa State. The part of Adamawa State he was from was not part of Nigeria at some point in time. There were talks about that, and they tried to dissuade his citizenship to say, well, where you were given birth to was initially located outside of Nigeria, so you are not a Nigerian. That did play out. In the case, now, just listen, I'm just pointing out where the dramatic comes along. And the situation, rather, of Dati Dati Ahmed, right? Remember Festus Keyamo also swayed it into the idea of, you're not even, your lineage doesn't come. You know, it comes, your Nigerian citizen comes from your parents, right? It talks about Ahmed Dati, right? And I remember Festus Keyamo described the fact that, Ahmed Dati is, I'm going to try and pick up exactly where the country they said he was, that his lineage was from, and that became very dramatic as well in its right, okay? It's from Zaria, University of Medjugorje, worked as a businessman, blah, blah, blah. Let me see, there was something about that. Okay, yes, Baba Ahmed, who was an Arab cattle rearer from modern-day Mauritania. That was another issue, to say, your lineage from Mauritania. And that became dramatic along the lines of maybe he's eligible to run for office or not. That's for the Labour Party vice presidential candidate. We've seen the same meted out to Atiku Abubakar, who was the PDP's presidential candidate 2019 and 2023. And now the president-elect, they say there's a passport that's waiting to be verified, because Fashola didn't say he is aware that there's a passport of such. But controversies building up leave you with so much to wonder about. Let's talk about this briefly after the break. This is Morning Crossfire on Nigeria Info.
The Morning Crossfire continues after this.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigerian Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
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 is Nigeria Informe.
Nigeria Info.
This 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 is Nigeria Informe.
Provides a new scope to the details of politics.
Actually participated in the governorship election.
Rollout vaccination in 4 phases.
Let's stay away from the sides of the story and go deeper together. Let's talk weekdays at 8 a.m.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info, Abuja. Let's talk.
The Current Affairs Show.
I'm here. I'm right here. The numbers to call in remain 0700-951-0000. You can also reach out on 08095974869. I'll take that again. I think there's a slower version in my head. 08095974869. And yes, on the WhatsApp portal, it's 08099930137. Okay? Let's start taking some of your calls. I don't know why I have a smoke on my face. Good morning to you and welcome to the show.
Hello, Femi. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. I apologize.
Can you hear me?
No, I didn't, my dear sir. What's your name?
Okay, Salisu calling from Congo.
All right, Salisu. Okay, let's take your view on.
Yeah, talking about this one. This is a strong legal issue.
Yep.
Okay, but I think from what we know on the basis, okay, for you to be qualified to run for an office is citizenship by birth. I think that's what we know as a layman. Okay, but again, I think we'll leave it to the lawyers to crack it out and know if they. But I know of citizen by birth. That's like the
main way.
Yeah. But if you acquire citizenship through any other means, you might have problem. But I think citizenship by birth, I think from what I know, you can scale through.
All right. No, Wahala. Thank you so much. It's good to talk to you. Okay, Salisu.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Comrade Chris Eziocha from Adela says, good morning. Okay, I think you sent this earlier, and I read this already. Okay, let's stay with the lines and take more calls. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good to have you on.
This is something from Abuja.
This is who? Your name again, please. Your name, please. Your name. We barely can hear you, dear.
Ahmed from
Oh, Ahmed from Gwagwalada. Okay, yes. Let's listen to you. The network is 4G, but we'll try.
Hello?
Yes, go on, please. Hello? Okay, that's not working out eventually. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show. Hello? I can hear myself. Again. Hold on.
Good morning, Sunny D.
Good morning. Yes, good morning.
Thank you. This is Tyra.
All right, welcome, Tara. Your radio needs to be turned down, Madam Tara.
It's okay. Hello?
Yes, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
So what I'm saying is that dual citizenship means nothing. Honestly, it means nothing. I don't think that one is even the excuse. it shouldn't be any excuse why somebody should not even be a president. Because if you have to look at it, nearly all of them has that problem. The ones that have ruled before and the one that is ruling, they all have it. It's just that some are lucky. Nobody talks about it. So for me, it means nothing. What I want, if you tell me my only problem there with the president-elect or whatever, my problem there is one thing I'm thinking about is competence and good health. Let's stop beating about the bush. Nigeria is a very complicated country, and it needs somebody, even somebody who is even very healthy and all those things. So it's not even easy. It's not even easy. If you look at this period that we are in, this very 8 years, you can see there's a difference between this 8 years and the former 8 years or 6 years of Goodluck Jonathan. And look at the age. I mean, it tells the truth. If he has good head and it sounds well light and life, I don't have any opposition. I don't have any problem with it. But I don't want for us to continue to see the same thing, repetition. And now you ask, where is the president? Where is he? I mean, this is just my problem.
All right, Madam Chair, let's leave it at that with you, okay? Yes. Thanks for your call. Grateful to you. All right, chat. Still more calls coming in. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show. Yes, good morning to you. Yes, how are you today?
Yes, no trouble at all.
Okay,
Justice of Peace Online.
All right, then.
Femi D.
Yes,
I want to look at this dual citizenship in holistically. How can we describe the true meaning of it? For me, it's like a man who put one leg in Sokoto, one leg is in Kaduna. It's like a man who have alternatives. Not like a Ukraine president who there's a war breakout and he decides if we are to die, all of us will die here. It simply means he has an alternative. If anything happens in Nigeria, he has where to run to. I will not go in the issue of law. I am not a lawyer. But in the true meaning or the real picture of truth is that you have an alternative. If you must be a president of Nigeria, you must stick here. You must now have alternative. This must only be the only place you have, and you are ready to die only for here.
I hear you.
If the president have alternative way to run to, what will the citizens do if anything happen to run to the place? So the president will leave the citizens and run to that place?
Some say that may not happen. All right, thank you so much. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
All right, interesting viewpoint. Good morning to you. Welcome to the... not that one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning to you.
This is Simon from Gogonada.
Oh, yes, I can hear you properly now.
What is happening in Adamawa State is just a law of karma that is trying to affect PDP. Here in Nigeria, it happened during the election. Election was going on. In Abuja, here they announced the election. So why are they carrying for all this right now? They are the one that started all this nonsense in Nigeria.
Please watch your language, okay? Just take it easy and let's listen to you.
All these things in Nigeria. The election was still going on. They are not the election in the result in Abuja. And for the...
You need to say mind your language, not watch your language. Mind your language.
Obi is having a dual citizenship. That is not in Nigeria. It's from Mauritania. So they don't have anything against Tinubu. They should go with free... I don't understand that. They don't want to use Kolokana to this thing for Bola Tinubu. They use the result, not by going, Kolokana about citizenship or that. But Tinubu won the election, hands down. And they cannot challenge it at all. We know what happened.
Okay.
And if they should conduct this election many times, Tinubu will still win the election.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Governor David Umahi is confused by himself. He doesn't have the maturity he thought he had. You don't know that leadership has seasoned generations come and go. He has no good remembrance in Igbo race. Eyi Siabe from Utako did write it in. The suspension of Adama Arek should be arrested and jettisoned, and the Commissioner of Police should also suspend him. Should also be suspended. Ibrahim from Itama had that written in. Pius writes, and it says, good morning, sir. The other day, you answered one of us that the best of year knowledge, to the best of your knowledge, no presidential election has been free. So educate me more. 1954 elections till present day. Which election can we point to as free? It has been fraud all along. Now look at the one at all the levels. It's one fraud or the other. And to compound the electoral words, the mother is now acting a script that she is part of. So did you see her face making that inglorious acceptance speech? So is it fraud? So it is fraud. Is it fraud? Okay. I wish Pius had taken more time to read this, to read and send. Okay, I think I'll just take Pius' message. I barely can comprehend what I'm reading, so it's tough. But Chima from Apple writes, and he says, if you're satisfied with the election results declaration, if you're not satisfied, you can go to court. It's a good statement, but with bad effects. What we are witnessing in Adama governorship election presently is one of the effects. People are encouraging to grab power while the opponents are told to go to court. This is not only an aberration, but a setback to our nascent democracy. Will our democracy make progress with this system? Chima from Apple writes it in. Good morning, Femi. I always say that APC means where to tell the PDP to go to court after announcing Binani as winner. That's what you meant to write. Binani as the winner. The wreck should be thoroughly investigated. I suspected they collected 2 billion. But what happened in Adama is a reflection of the presidential election. It's always like father, like son. Peter from Gwagwalada did write his viewpoint in with regards to that. Okay, good morning.
Good morning again. World class Dr. Femi D. MLA.
Welcome.
Yes, I remember humble self, Abubakar Ali, aka Tinubu Pekin, calling from PW Kubwa.
All right, welcome. Let's get to hear from you.
The president-elect is just like the proverbial cat with 9 lives. The sections of the Constitution you quoted, there is no any form of ambiguity in them, in my layman understanding. But I would have preferred you make a 5-minute call, maybe tomorrow, to a constitutional lawyer, so that they can x-ray it and give us a deep insight. However,
the challenge is this. Let me tell you what the challenge is.
Yes, sir.
First of all, we need to establish that that passport is citizenship with that country, or it's valid. Even the passport that was circulated, they said it has expired. So for you to even start asking lawyer about different things, but I think hold on for a moment.
Thank you.
I think the broad, which a lot of the angle which these things would appear in court is that when there's an INEC form you feel as a presidential candidate, right, where you're being asked if you're a citizen of a country, and you get to tick yes or no. And on his form, my understanding is that he ticked no, with regards to dual citizenship, all right? So that makes it quite, should I say, it gives people who want to argue out in court reasons to say, well, he said no, he misled the whole government.
If you say no, then it is no now. Would you have said yes if it is? Would you have said no? Yes, if it is no.
Well, it's
no, then it is no.
He knows best. But
no, the reason why I'm saying this is not for him in particular, but for future reference.
Yes.
For future reference. You understand? This man has received all manner of titles, all manner of blows. But instead of him to be weakened, he becomes stronger. He becomes as innocent as a newborn baby. He's become as white as a snow whenever all this are thrown at him. So we are entertained. We want more of this to be coming out before the inauguration, so that when he comes on board,
it's interesting you say that. It's interesting you say that because even Fashola never described.
Very interesting.
Fashola never described him as a saint. He never described him as a saint. He never described himself as a saint or
and
even
neither
as a saint.
I that I'm speaking to you and you, Femi, are a saint. Are you a saint?
No. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point I'm making, Abubakar. Abubakar, that's the point I'm making, because suddenly you make it sound as white as snow that when somebody went from your party an election.
When I say white as snow, I'm not saying in all ramification. In the aspect they are trying to dig or create hole when there is no hole.
Oh, I see.
Understand?
Now. Okay, now I understand you better.
On earth, a perfect gentleman is that man whose social ills have not been discovered. And when you dig deep enough, you understand that no perfect gentleman. We all inherit imperfection, and fighting the war of imperfection is the greatest war of all, because we will all die becoming imperfect. We can never be perfect.
All right. Well, let's leave it at that with you. Thanks for your time. Okay.
My show be still iron though. Thank you.
All right. Karam from Abuja, yes, says the issue of dual citizenship is a justifiable reason not to be a president. The question is, did Tinubu indicate in the INEC form that he holds dual citizenship? If it ticked no, we know what that's called. Please help me with the answer to such an act, okay? Dr. Femi D, that's the question Karam is asking me this morning. Good morning, Femi D. I don't know. I don't have any issues with dual citizenship, but the issue here is, did they take no on the INEC form? That's deceit and lies. And such a person has a questionable character. Glory from United States of Dawaki writing that in. Thank you for writing from USD. Okay. Sally Sue Sulaiman from Guaripa says, Femi, I forgot to add that we have some presidents around the world also being given citizenship of other countries, even in office. Okay, that's a viewpoint. Good morning, FMD. Destin from Gudu. I think before acquiring another citizenship, you may have to denounce your former origin. I remember when President Buhari issued some citizenship to some people, they denounced their foreign citizenship. Good morning, FMD. I just feel citizenship is not what we should be discussing now. I agree with Madam Tara all the way. We have lots of repairs to handle in this country, and we need competent hands and people. Charles from Cuba writes it in. I agree with your guest in the studio, who it's about capacity to deliver, institutions and system. The last two presidents of the U.S. are not young persons. Some states had young people as governors, but no real development. Others had it great with young people. Good morning, FMD. Ben Moribus lost the gubernatorial candidature by a state because of his dual citizenship. So there's already a precedent to set for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He should have known that for a long time, to either decline the contest for presidency or to do away with the Guinea citizenship. Thanks, Princess Asebe from Gwarimpa did write that in. Good morning, FMD. Before you're misunderstood, there are rumors have been carried around that President-elect is a dual citizenship. Fashola himself was not sure because he alluded to probably possibility of Tinubu being given foreign citizenship when he was on Excel as a NADECO member fighting for June 12. I'm not sure Tinubu holds more than the Nigerian passport. Banki Inotako writes that in. From there, the constitutional requirements for the office of the president are very simple and clear. The president-elect is eminently qualified. Don't bother your head to explaining to those who have decided to be mischievous in all their thinking and reasoning. Good morning. Najim writes that in. Okay, good morning. How do you claim to be different from a system that birthed you? The so-called younger politicians are to be given platforms by the same corrupt old-age politicians, and the platforms are certainly given with conditions that follow the status quo. So I strongly agree with your colleague in the studio. My name is Victor from Fagba. I don't have a colleague in the studio. Hey, where's everybody? Any colleague? Family, good morning. Good morning. I'm just beating around the bush without making point. Okay, I'm not too sure what you mean. I'm trying to understand it too. Okay, I was beating around. I wasn't even trying to make a point to explain it. I started my statement by saying I was not going to interpret what that law was about. So it was not for me to interpret to say, oh, it's in or out. So if that's what you think, unfortunately, well, I wish you had listened to my preamble before I started saying this is what the law says. That's what it says, open to interpretation accordingly. Emmanuel in Cuba says the bone of contention on Tinubu is not actually his dual citizenship. It's the fact that he lied on oath that he doesn't have any other citizenship outside Nigeria in the EC8 INEC firm, and that amounts to perjury, and it's a crime against the electoral laws and the state. Emmanuel Inkuba writes it in. Good morning, Femi. As for me, Adama Rek should not be suspended. It should be declared as, yay, because he is the enemy of Nigerian democracy. Henry Oga from Suleja had that written in. Hello, Femi. I think the issue of dual citizenship should not be an issue of competence, and it should be an issue of competence, capacity, and character. Going forward, Barack Obama was born to Kenyan parent, but fostered by an American parent. So I think it should not allow issues that are not important to make headlines or questions to the incoming government. Is to how will they fix the economy, energy, education, and security, and the challenges we face on a daily basis. So it looks like everybody's ready to move on after all, right? Everybody's saying, see, this election is not. Okay, let's just allow the man to start work and move on. So do I have the feeling Nigerians are moving on, especially for those who feel, oh, things have not gone as they should, but they have moved on? I don't know. Why am I getting that feeling that people have moved on and President-elect is going to lead the country in days to come, right? Have we moved on? Nigeria, I'm not even talking about politicians. You as a Nigerian, have you moved on? Can I say that? And I'm saying this with a smile on my face, okay? I'm just being mischievous. So if you've moved on, great. If you're still hanging on, great as well. But here we go. Good morning from DMLA. That wreck has jeopardized INEC's effort in a demo election, and INEC needs to sensitize the members before sending them to the field. And I know that INEC are looking for sanity, and I believe that Nigeria will not agree with that. How can INEC will give someone suspension, and the person still parade himself as wreck? If INEC is ready to tell us the truth, some things like that could not. All right, just take your time. Just read through what you've written in. It will help a little bit more. Leo from Musa to say, sir, it's not an issue of dual citizenship, but lying under oath. What is perjury? Perjury is a criminal offense. And I'll take one more message to round up. Lajagba says, is this the case of PDP and Labour Party, not like producers under influence that are ashamed of using a drunkard to advertise their products? PDP, Labour Party, and their lovers are skipping their own side of the story to point out INEC and APC for virtually all the anomalies of the 2023 polls. Senator Smart at DME is smart and brave enough to make it public that Mr. Tatata is out to impose his cousins on Kogites. Lajagba speaks about that. Let's round off now. Let's take 2 calls and we're done. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Femi.
Good to have you on.
Okay. My name is Collins. I'm calling you from Poppy.
Good to have you. Yes, let's listen to you now.
Okay. Look, the issue is this. For me, having the dual citizenship is not the issue. But the issue is this. There are some things that we're supposed to understand in this country. When something is bad, it's bad. No matter in respect whether you achieve it or you did not, whether it favor you or did not favor you. This thing is clear. I believe when we're filling the form in the INEC, ECTAD, you have a place that you feel, which is like you taking an oath. Now, in that paragraph, the place they ask you, do you have another citizenship? And you think no. Which is, number one, is perjury. And which is an offense. Sorry. So, now, if anybody has a dual citizenship, if it is yes, then why don't he take yes on that form? It's not a matter of having dual citizenship is the issue. Well, the issue is you now lying to Nigerians that you have only Nigerian citizenship, which at the end, if it turns out that you have a Guinean citizenship, and you coming to be a president of Nigeria, My brother.
Okay.
It's unfair.
All right. Let's leave that down with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me squeeze in the last call. I have just room for just a few minutes, okay? Good morning to you. Very few. Less than a minute to you.
This is Jimo Haruna from Abuja.
All right, Jimo, you're going to have to speak through your point.
All right. I just want to make some clarification about the issue of dual citizenship of 15. I don't know why, based on the provisions of constitution you read out, I don't know where what section that stated that with dual citizenship you can't be president or you can't be governor of a state. I think because you've read some of the section of the constitution, so it's just that people are making things out of nothing. So in court, they were in court to say that he doesn't, he was a drug or whatever. He doesn't have results. All those the election has been conducted. Tinubu won squarely. If they conduct this election again 100 times, I can guarantee, I can bet that the vote Tinubu is going to get is going to be more than what he got in the last election. I can bet you, but based on the investigation, based on the discussion I'm having with people. So they should just forget about that, move on.
All right.
This is the same thing they did to Buhari, that they can do for the 8 years. Some of them don't know what they are doing about their life. So they are campaigning, calling, cursing, insulting the president. Just consider that.
I'm going to let you go. Thank you, Jimo. Thank you so much. Interesting viewpoints. If he runs again, he would win. So Jimo concludes. And that's it for us on Morning Crossfire for today. Interesting time to listen to your viewpoints on various issues. Well, after all, nothing breaks the news like the news. And I can prove it. I'll be back tomorrow with another engaging show. Stay close. I am Femi D. MLM. Nigerian Info is here for you all day long, passionately, with conversations that truly are trustworthy. Thank you so much.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigerian Info 95.1. And I'm Femi D. MLM. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.